Time for another trip to Martin State Park. We can't get enough of this place. It's one of our favorite places to camp here in Texas. The wildlife is aplenty, so come join us as we have a great time. Corey's going to eat some of his crawfish. We're going to hit up a place called Pickett House for some fine dining and some of the best peach cobbler I've ever had. And of course, as always, we're going to give you our 2 cents on what we thought of the trips. So let's get her done. On the first night, we got a late start. We arrived after 5 and we were just chilling at our campsite, and we looked across the street and saw these cute 3 deer just chowing down. Shout out to the person who gave me this little play yard area for the pups. It keeps them contained while we set up. What you eating, babe?
Boiled shrimp and crawfish.
Mud bugs.
Nobody likes the smell, so I gotta eat out here.
Ew, that's disgusting. Oh, you splashed it on me. You pull his head off and you eat it?
Oh, suck it.
Oh, well, that's much better. Watching Corey eat these is so barbaric and very traumatic. I promise no chihuahuas are hurt in the making of this video.
I will get you. I will get you. I will get you.
Hazy, I see your kinfolk over there. You're a deer chihuahua? And I think I see your cousin across the street. Although we could not see the sunset or the sunrise from where we were staying, the view was still very beautiful. I always wake up hours before everybody else, so I went out for a walk this morning and decided I would show you the restrooms. And I'm sorry Corey wasn't with me on this walk, so we can't show you the men's restroom, but I'm assuming if one is in a certain condition, the other one is probably pretty similar. So you walk in, and off to the left you have a curtain that you open, and then there are 2 more sets of curtains with 2 showers, and it looked pretty well kept and pretty clean. And even though we have a shower and a bathroom on our camper, it's quite small, so we do enjoy coming here and taking a shower. Or if you need a little privacy, you can go use the restroom. We usually stay in a campsite that is pretty close to the public restrooms, and they usually look pretty good, and that was definitely the case here. So much for this ASMR segment with nature.
Boy, they've been wanting you bad.
Normally when we visit a park, I like to do a 360 view so you can just see how much space there is or how little space there is depending on the situation. But I was just trying to walk y'all from where our site begins down to the water and just show you how sprawled out and spacious this is. Okay, so it's time for breakfast. The coffee is percolating, but I forgot to bring creamer for the coffee, so I'm going to improvise and use this yummy cold brew milk that I got from Central Market, and we're going to just pretend that this is creamer. We're eating light today because we have a big lunch planned. This lemon chobani with fruit pop rocks is really good. We had some avocado and some boiled egg. Time for a park tour. Here's where you launch your kayak or canoe. In a lot of ways, Martin Dies reminds me a lot of Caddo Lake, and it's a whole lot closer to home for us. I love their expansive cypress forest and the feeling of being in a swamp or a bayou. It's just really cool with their bald cypress trees and the dangling moss. And it's cool seeing the roots sticking out of the water.
We got mountain lions.
What?
Coyotes and black bear in this area.
No, they don't.
That's what it says.
There ain't no way.
Pinewood predator shapes this forest a diverse and wild place.
So they were once roaming this area, and yeah, coyotes, that makes more sense. They're still in this area present time.
The black bear are gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say there ain't no way they're still here in this part of the region. Okay, we can't cross this bridge right now. It looks like there is a photo shoot going on down there. We're going to start with the hen house unit, which is across the street from the unit in which we're staying. Here is the entrance, and this building off to the right is where you go to check in. At first glance, these appear to be a lot of pull-through sites that are for larger rigs. On the right there is your dumping station. Then we came to an area that is mostly cabins, and they look like they come in different sizes, so if you don't have a tent or a camper, this might be a good solution for you. And a lot of these cabins were on the water. So these loops aren't really numbered. They're not like loop A, loop B, loop C. You're probably just going to have to look at a map to pick a spot. I think we're staying on the Walnut Grove side or something like that.
Walnut Ridge.
Walnut Ridge. I'm sorry, I really need to do a better study before I take y'all on a park tour. There's quite a few loops here, and not to mention this park is divided into two sections across the road. Rather than driving you down each one, we'll kind of just go quickly, not really show you each site, but just what's unique to that area. So the one that we're in now, it looks like it's got some pretty big spots for a bigger rig, and then it has all these little cabins.
It's called shelters.
Okay, shelters. This is the day use area.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go up here and turn around.
Corey doesn't want his mug in the shot, so what we're going to do is drive up here and turn around so I can give you a better view of the day use area. We are in another loop, and I guess what makes this one unique is it looks like it's a combination of tent sites and maybe for smaller rigs. And Corey said he thinks it looks a little bit newer. Here is a little cul-de-sac, and this is sites 215 to 219 if you were traveling with some people and wanted to all stay in the same little area.
Yeah,
216 right there on the water. I kind of like this section a little bit better because our section has a lot of brush blocking our view, kind of like this right here. We had to go down a ways before we could turn around and have the day use area on my side of the car for better viewing for the camera. But here is the boat launch area, and now we are approaching the little playground, and there's some kind of pavilion with a couple of rows of seating and a small stage for a little hoedown or something. Here is the boat launch area. Now we're going to speed up the video a little bit because it's a lot of the same thing. As you can see, there are tons of picnic tables, barbecue pits for families together and be able to sprawl out and not be on top of each other. Now let's leave this section of the state park and drive across the street to the part that we're staying in. The entrance is kind of set up the same. You got the little booth there for the day use people, and it's $4 a person to get in. You've got this education center over here, as well as a little wildlife garden. Corey says there's just one big loop, and I apologize earlier for the front-facing camera view. I keep forgetting to zoom back out. I zoom in when I'm showing all the area, and then I turn the camera on me, and it's like showing you every pore on my face, so sorry about that. This is the day use area on the side that we are staying on, and the road is super bumpy, and especially if you're in an off-road chassis like we are, so forgive the crazy footage, but here are the canoes and kayaks that you can rent. This was the area that we were at a little bit ago in the video where we walked across the bridge. I don't know what these things are called. They're like humongous dandelions, and they're constantly blowing stuff all over the park, and this is why Corey and I were coughing and sneezing through the video. So on our side, it's just one big loop, and there is the park host and the firewood, which is $1 each, and they use the honor system as a lot of state parks do. And over here to the left is the restroom that I gave y'all a tour of earlier this morning on my walk. And there's our baby girl, off-grid Greta. We'll be back home soon. I just can't get over how spread out these spaces are. This is really nice with all the shade, only the downfall to all this shade is sometimes you have occasional insects that fall on you. Corey had 3 different caterpillars fall on him, which reminded me a lot of our experience at Palmetto. I swear I dreamed that caterpillars were falling on me. It was so traumatic. But I just love how spaced out these areas are, and especially if you're camping on a Sunday when everybody else is leaving. This is us when everybody's leaving on a Sunday. Now it's time for 2 tickets to Chowtown. We're going to this place called the Pickett House. I've heard many great things about it. I've seen them featured on the bucket list. So the line was out the door, and these aren't people waiting to be seated. They're waiting to pay first, and it's kind of like a boarding style vibe. I love me some antique furniture, so I really enjoyed checking out this old vintage piano and typewriter that they had. And for whatever reason, I'm sure there's a backstory, but they have pictures of circus and clown photos everywhere, which I'm terrified of clowns. Here are their baked goods that they sell in addition to your meal for that day. They also have like some day-old bread and just little muffins and cakes and whatnots and what have yous. Once you pay for your meal, they assign you a place to sit. They try to spread everybody out so you're not always just sitting crammed at a table with all these random strangers. They try to space you out, and then as the place gets full, they'll add more people to your table. Our meal came out quickly. So here is our mixed meat. We got dark and light meat. Got some fresh lima beans, jalapenos, beets, coleslaw, chicken and dumpling, mashed potatoes, and collard greens. How's the beet? So the greens are good?
They're really good. They're a little smoky.
Yeah. Time to tear this up. Oh my god, that's good.
Yeah.
That's some of the best chicken I've ever had. Not to be crude, but this was some of the biggest breast I've ever seen. The meal also comes with biscuits and cornbread. Editing me is jealous of the me in this video. Peach cobbler was insane.
Got a lot of cinnamon in it.
I see
really
the cinnamon.
Good.
Round 2.
How good is it?
So good.
Thank you.
All right, babe, what'd you think of the Pickett restaurant?
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm not a big fried chicken fan. I only eat it every once every couple years, but It was real good. I like the sides. The greens are outstanding. I like the chicken and dumplings. I like the mashed potatoes and gravy. I liked all the sides. But to top it off, the peach cobbler was the best I've ever had. I'd go there just for that. And I just turned 60, so I got a $1 discount.
That's awesome. Something to look forward to. Yeah. Star of the show was the greens, and it was a mixture of collard greens, mustard greens, and what was the third one? Bless you.
Can't remember.
It was a mixture of different types of greens. The lima beans, they were pretty good. Honestly, they weren't the best I've ever had, but that's okay. The chicken and dumplings, he loved them. I like them a little more seasoned. When I make them, I put a lot of seasoning in there, so I kind of like mine more. I like my food super hot, like I like to burn the roof of my mouth. And to me, it was just, some of the sides were kind of like room temperature. The way it works, it's kind of like a family style dining experience. If you are an introvert, you might not necessarily be eating at a table alone. They might put you with strangers, and they don't have any, like a host that stands there and records party information. You just get there and you stand in line. So today there was a line out the door, and they try to space you out according to when you come in and when there's available tables. I agree with Corey, the peach cobbler was outstanding. It had so much cinnamon on it. It was so good, but one thing I cannot understand, because I asked for seconds on my cobbler, and they said that I could have the cobbler, but to get another scoop of Bluebell vanilla ice cream, I would have to pay $1, which is kind of mind-blowing, because you can sit there and order just plates and plates of chicken all day, and it's included with the price you pay. But if you want some Bluebell ice cream, gotta pay $1 for that second scoop. When you're finished eating, you take your plates to the kitchen. They say whatever you don't eat, they give it to the pigs. And that might be true, but I personally think that it's kind of how they prevent people from asking for to-go boxes, or getting a bunch of food and taking a bite off of it and saying, oh, I couldn't finish this, may I get a to-go box or whatever. But the menu is pretty much set for the most part. I think the only thing that they change up is the type of beans. You might go sometimes and it's pinto beans. Today for us was lima beans. They've had green beans with ham. The Pickett House restaurant is inside the Heritage Village, and I wish we weren't so pressed for time. I would have loved to look around at their museum, and they have a ton of nature trails, but we spent so much time waiting in line, and by the time we ate, the dogs were ready to go. As far as this park, we've been here before. It's been about 6 or 7 months, and I will be sure to link that video in the description box below. This place is so spaced out. I don't know, some of them you're closer to your neighbor than others, but where we're staying, 522, we have a lot of space between us and our neighbors, lots of shade.
There's a lot of spots on the water.
Little man, you gotta stay there till Daddy gets back. Get back in your bed. Little man's trying to escape. He gave up. Sweet thing, what you doing over there?
Feeling my crawfish. Make crawfish every day. The next couple days.
Waldo, watch out for that caterpillar. So this is the site we stayed at last time. Site number 528, just a few sites down from where we are currently staying. Corey immediately recognized where he spent all that time trying to pitch that tent, but was doing so inside out. Not really tent. What's it called? The clamshell or something? It's a pretty unobstructed view. There is the tree. I remember being down in the water last time we were here.
Yep.
He wants to be
You're
in
not getting in with your sissy. That's just wrong. No.
Look how comfy Hazy is. You can't
get in there with her.
For breakfast, I'm frying up a little bit of deli ham, and we are having ham and cheese biscuits. Keeping life simple since there's not a lot of room to move around our camper. I made the biscuits at home before we left and had deli cheese. It was delicious. Hazel's tummy is full of ham, and now it's time for a little siesta. We enjoyed time around the campfire on our last night there, and we decided to make s'mores. I like using Reese's peanut butter cups instead of Hershey's for mine. Olivia decided to use her chocolate. I believe it's called Lindt or Lindor. I don't really know. It's one of those two. And we like our marshmallows extra toasty. Cheers to an amazing camping trip. I can't wait to go on the next one. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.